Hi everyone, my name is Herman Caballeros, and today I'll be discussing some of the processes that go into metamemory, or one's ability to analyze and track their ability to recall important information and important details, and metacognition as well, which refers to an individual's ability to interact and engage with their introspective thought. So this topic makes me think about a quote that I heard during my second semester of college in one of my philosophy courses. It was Rene Descartes' infamous quote, "Je pense du je suis," I believe. I may have butchered that, but the English translation was, "I think, therefore I am." And this quote simply suggests that the ability to think is to exist. So I guess anything that thinks exists. Of course, that's not true always, but as it relates to metacognition, it can be somewhat accurate. Um, so, metacognition supposes that the ability that someone has or a person has the ability to analyze and evaluate their thinking, um, and that this is essential to learning. This is part of the learning process. It enables us to adapt and adjust to the information we receive and also develop some introspective thought and assess, which can help us assess what we've learned and how and when to apply it. Metacognition essentially encourages one to think about their cognitive abilities and assess the best ways for them to learn or process that information. I believe in the LSU discussion or the interview. Um, I think it was a studying hack that the gentleman spoke on, suggesting that he found new ways to study, or better ways to study, um, that were more effective in him reaching the outcome, the academic outcome or achievement that he was looking for. So metacognition just encourages us to think about those abilities and encourages, in a sense, the assessment of the strategies and techniques that work best for us during particular tasks. Metacognition essentially encourages one to think about their own cognitive abilities, assess the best ways for them to learn about or process information, and figure out what techniques work best for them at particular tasks and why. The knowledge that we attain from utilizing metacognition promotes a deeper level of comprehension, enabling people to break down the methods and strategies internally, um, and figure out which ones they need to use to achieve the goal or complete that task. Um, and in many ways, this promotes self regulation. It also encourages the organization of thought, um, helps someone track their progress, and really lets them assess their abilities on a deeper level. Also, metacognition is an effective way or an effective tool for learners, because it encourages critical thinking, and in most cases it heightens the learning experience because the learner is more engaged with the material, especially when said material is or can be related to uh, regular life or day-to-day life. So willpower is extremely important to how we gauge thinking, which consequently affects how we I guess express our metacognitive abilities. Baumeister suggests that willpower, or the ability to resist temptation and engage in strenuous activity willingly, is important for task completion. But willpower isn't infinite. So Baumeister specifically lets us know that willpower being finite means that the decisions that we make, they exhaust energy. Not only do they exhaust energy, but they also deplete our ability or capacity to resist temptation on future events or future tasks. Um, and that's something big that I think that's part of the ego depletion concept that Baumeister speaks about, which surmises that the more self-control a person exerts on a specific task, the less they'll have later on other tasks that require self-control. So, some implications that metacognition and metamemory have on both teaching and learning suggest that students learn more effectively when teachers explain concepts in a more relatable manner. Practice is essential to learning and the learning process because it allows learners to develop a mastery over context specific tasks. This suggests that the more information a student learns about a particular subject, and the more examples they see in relation to those concepts, the more experience they gain, the more meaning they apply to the information that they're learning. But the thing is, becoming skilled from practicing, years of practicing, is one thing, but it's another thing to be competent because of the experience that one has amassed on this subject or topic or activity. Imposing meaning on new information is something that hasn't really been discussed much up to this point. Research finds that learners who imposed meaning on new information did better on assignments and were able to recall more details on exams than their counterparts. They were able to withhold more information for longer periods of time and apply it more accurately when they were asked to use those methods to solve real world problems. Research suggests that when students explained what they've learned using metaphors and analogies, they were able to relate the information to them and also memorize it at a higher frequency. Learners need examples to help lock in new information. When students are taught formulas and given multiple examples of scenarios that can be solved using these said formulas, they're able to memorize and recall them better and solve the problem. Using old information to give context to new information allows learners to transfer knowledge and apply it to a variety of scenarios, helping them to better understand the concepts they're taught. As they become more adept, learners begin to pull from their experiences, applying acquired knowledge to several scenarios as needed. In conclusion, learners who engage in case-based or scenario-based learning tend to remember their experiences and apply the new knowledge more effectively. The more they practice what they've learned, the better they can assess problems that others aren't able to see. Learners who are taught new concepts in a way that they can relate to it and given examples of how that knowledge can be applied through other situations allows them to create a sense of familiarity with the concepts, making them more competent at their specific skill sets. The following are a list of references used for this presentation.